Now, we all know the Hadron Collider is old news, but I figured I'd make another physics video where I think the weapons of the future will be black hole guns. I don't think they'll literally be guns, but I do believe we will solve our modern warfare problems with miniature black holes that will bend space and time and just banish our enemies into the abyss of space. Now, how does the black hole theory work? Well, the idea is that something gives off so much kinetic force and energy that it literally bends space. If you notice, when it's really hot outside or you're lighting a fire, you see waves around you. Now, I could say that this is probably the water in your eye reflecting the light, and it makes it look like things are waving when they actually aren't. But scientists believe that this is actually a literal interpretation of heat, that the heat is actually bending space. Obviously, it would take something a lot hotter than a fire, but this primitive drawing is good enough to represent a black hole. There is no limitation to space. You cannot literally rip a hole in space and time, but you can bend it, and you can bend it downward. So the idea of the Hadron Collider is that if the Sun is 5 billion Celsius, and the Hadron Collider was able to produce something at 4 trillion Celsius, we could safely determine that it is enough force to emulate a supernova, which would cause a black hole. And since it's only a tiny speck, it only is going to produce a tiny black hole that's going to dissipate a lot faster than a normal black hole. And the point is, I think the Hadron Collider is the first step, a prototype to the eventual creation of a weapon that can create house-sized black holes that can totally disrupt entire countries and, leave everything in a total wasteland when entire communities and resources get sucked up into this bent space, and then when space reascends, it's just gone. I mean, the things themselves are not gone. They're broken down into the most primitive form of matter and energy, but everything around it is gone. What we know as things, material objects and stuff, would be gone. But, obviously energy never is destroyed, it merely changes. So that's what I'm trying to say here, that we've essentially created something that is hotter than the sun, and it's only a matter of time, maybe a few years, before we're able to make it a practical use as a weapon. And I'm very excited about that, because that is a major step in scientific breakthrough. It's probably not a very good one. It would be like our version of the 60s napalm, and we all remember, well, not all of us, but our parents probably remember how terrible napalm was in the Vietnam War. But essentially, we always are leaning in the direction of heat as a form of scientific breakthrough, and we've always used it as the most practical weapon, and this will be no different. We used to use fire on a stick and shoot it like an arrow, then we moved on to flamethrowers and then napalm, and now it will be actual black holes from miniature supernovas. That's all I have to say.